With unbelievable treachery and craftiness, Japan has attacked our territory and murdered American citizens.
Hi, I'm Ted, and welcome to episode 1 of Reality Bytes. This one's regarding the McCollum Memo. And if you've never heard of the McCollum Memo, that's not surprising in the least, since any of us who actually went through the public education system here in the United States, or actually anywhere, I guess, in the world, had never heard of this before. And the way that Pearl Harbor was presented to all of us, and continues to be presented to all of us, is that on December 7th, 1941, out of nowhere, the Japanese attacked the United States of Pearl Harbor. They were, it was a surprise attack. We didn't see it coming. Oh my God. And that's how we got into World War II. Well, interestingly enough, the McCollum Memo, which was written on October 7th, 1940, or at least dated then, Lieutenant Commander Arthur McCollum of the Office of Naval Intelligence submitted a memo to Navy Captains Walter Anderson and Dudley Knox. Both were two of President Roosevelt's most trusted military advisors. And I got my copy of the McCollum Memo off of whatreallyhappened.com, so you can check that out. I'll put a link in the, I'll put the web address in the credits here so you can look at it. But essentially what the situation the United States was in, or the world was in, right before we got involved in World War II, was that Great Britain was keeping the basically the last ally standing in Europe, and they're up against the Germans, the Italians. Now, there was a large fear in the United States if the Japanese got involved with the Germans and the Italians, Great Britain would fall, and then the entire Axis powers would be focused on the United States and would really be in for it, so to speak. So, what the McCollum Memo actually states is that, okay, we need to keep the Japanese hemmed in, busy, whatever word you want to use, and we need to do some things in order to meet that goal. And they are basically as follows. They're lettered A through H. A, make an arrangement with Britain for the use of British bases in the Pacific, primarily Singapore. B, make an arrangement with Holland, also known as the Netherlands now, for the use of base facilities and acquisition of supplies in the Dutch East Indies. C, give all possible aid to the Chinese government of Chiang Kai-shek. D, send a division of long-range heavy cruisers to the Orient, Philippines, or Singapore. E, send 2 divisions of submarines to the Orient. F, keep the main strength of the U.S. fleet now in the Pacific in the vicinity of the Hawaiian Islands. That's interesting, isn't it? G, insist that the Dutch refuse to grant Japanese demands for undue economic concessions, particularly oil. H, and the last one, completely embargo all U.S. trade with Japan in collaboration with a similar embargo imposed upon the British Empire. Within 1 year of that memo being written, the Roosevelt administration enacted all those policies. Now, okay, so all those things are ways of, tactics we continue to use today with embargoes, economic sanctions, and the like, using other people's military bases to keep the Japanese, as I said, hemmed in. Now, in and of itself, that would not be as damning as it possibly could be if it wasn't for this kind of last bullet. This is actually number 10 in the memo. If by these means Japan could be led to commit an overt act of war, so much the better. At all events, we must be fully prepared to accept the threat of war. So there you have it. If you do these 8 things, it could cause Japan to commit an act of war against the United States. So much the better. We need to be ready. So that's it. That's the McCollum Memo. I hope you find that interesting and it's something you didn't know. Do some research on it. You will see some dialogue, of course, saying, well, you can't really trace that memo to Roosevelt. There's no proof he ever saw it. No proof that blah, blah, blah. But, there's something called plausible deniability in operations like this, right? The president can never be tied to anything. In and of itself, I mean, there is no hard evidence tying this to FDR, but considering that it was shared with, this memo was sent to 2 of his most trusted military advisors, you can make up your own mind on that one. And as I said, my goal here is just to give you a little bit of history you didn't hear about before, and have you maybe question things a little bit. If we weren't told the truth about what led up to Pearl Harbor, maybe we haven't been told the truth of other things. Thanks a lot for watching, and keep thinking, or start thinking. Thank you.
Japan began this war in treachery. We shall end it in victory.